We'll call the City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission Joint Plan Development Workshop agenda to order for August 28, 2023 at 5 o'clock p.m. With that, Madam Secretary, I will certify we have a quorum of the City Council present as members Carbone, Mayor Pro Tem Koza, Member Cade, and Member Berry are present. I do know Member Hernandez is absent tonight, will be absent for the remainder of the evening, and Mr. Patel should be here shortly. And with that, we'll turn to the Planning and Zoning. Mr. Chair, would you roll call your group there?
Yes, sir. We have Yes, sir, Mayor. We have a quorum with Commissioner Coon, Commissioner McCaffrey, Commissioner Fuentes, and Commissioner Hendricks, and myself.
All right. With that, we do have a citizen comment, but I do know he is part of the applicant and the group here. So I'm assuming Jorge will be a part of the speakers as we move forward. So we have your name and information here should we need you for that. Madam Secretary, was there any other? Okay. With that, we will move to workshop number 1, input and discussion, a request by Malone and Karla, Canada, applicant on behalf of Adnan Usmani. I get that right? All right. Owner for a planned development workshop as required by the Unified Development Code regarding a proposed multifamily development consisting of 180 dwelling units with urban modern aesthetic and amenities on approximately 9.6251 acres of land. General location is north of Fight Road, east of Manville Road. With that, Martin, we'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a revisit of a plan development that we saw earlier this year. They have made a couple changes and wanted to revisit before making their formal application for a plan development. So some of the changes that were brought about were a reduction in the number of units down to 180 units and bringing the buildings down to an overall 3-story instead of a 4-story product. Just to give you some surrounding information, this property has R1 zoning on 3 sides and then R4 to the south. And then it is within a low-density residential future land use category. And then, again, the project lies at the dead end of Morenci between Fight Road, and there are a variety of residential uses around it and undeveloped properties, and then the Dad's Club to the south of the property across Fight Road. So this is their revised site plan. I've twisted it just to make it a little easier to read on the screen. So north is to the left. This project includes 110 2-bedroom units, 70 1-bedroom units, and an overall height of 53 feet. And then some of the amenities that they have proposed within the development are a clubhouse, swimming pool, barbecue area, a fitness center, a parcel locker, a playground, and a recreation room. The applicants have worked on providing some additional renderings, which I'll briefly go through here. And then whenever the applicant comes up, we will have a full view and listing of each of their renderings that they've provided. But as you can see, they brought the structures down to 3 stories. And it still maintains a fairly modern aesthetic within the development. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mayor, to introduce the applicants.
Sounds good. Thank you, Martin. The applicants are here. Do you have a presentation? Awesome. That's fine. Just please give us your name and address for the record, and
Yeah, so my name, I'm the developer. My name is George Bisbal. My address is 5161 San Felipe Street, Houston, Texas, 77056. So basically, as you know, we were here 2 months ago, and we listened to the concerns of, planning department and also some of you, and I think there was some neighbors also, and we wanted to address, because I want to reiterate that we want to be part of the community. We have not only these properties, other properties, and we really want to commit to Pearland. So having said that, we revise all the concerns and suggestions, we address them. The most important, or the one that people were more concerned about, was traffic. So we actually hired a company which pulled information from the DOT, and they also put their sensors on Fight Road during, I think, a week and a half. And that traffic study shows that a maximum of 77%, the traffic study actually planning has it, so you can take a look at it. So even with building these 180 units, the street is not going to be loaded with cars. It's going to be at 70% capacity. And that is counting the Westlake residential using only Fight Road, because as you know, they also have an exit into Broadway. And the observations are that between 45 and 50% of the cars, they exit Broadway. So even if all of them would exit Fight, the street would be at 77% capacity. Also, in order to mitigate, especially on rush hour, traffic, to mitigate that coming from our apartments, is if you see on that diagram, instead of one street in and out, we actually made a larger street with a median, and it's a one-way street, so cars come on one and then exit on the other one. And also that serves as a buffer in case there would be a lane of cars coming out or coming in, they would actually gather there. We made a roundabout also for the cars to be distributed. So we want the traffic, if any, to be inside our property, not on the street. Okay. We also, in order to mitigate the traffic, we removed the coffee shop that we had planned for a coffee shop, and so that will be less parking and less traffic. Although even if we have 180 units, we have 457 parking spots for neighbors and visitors. That is actually 97 more than required per code. So we have 97 spaces that can be for visitors, for, if the Dats Club, they have an event, we would be happy to let them use those 97 spaces now. As you see also, and it was one of the requirements from the city, the cars and the parking is not visible from the road, from Fight Road. We will have fountains, and we will have a high-end landscaping, and also this street with median, full of trees, which you will not see any cars, only the incoming and exiting cars. Another of the concerns, of course, planning already spoke about it. Instead of 240 apartments, we're planning to build only 180. That happened by reducing one story, and this is also because there were concerns that we were going to be overlooking the patios on the other houses from 4 stories high. So actually, we reduced it. So we addressed that. We are also far away from the back street. We will have a buffer of trees on the back, also with the detention. The detention will serve as a park, and also, walking dog trail and park for the residents, and also as a buffer with the neighborhood on the back. What else? Well, we removed the coffee shop, and we reduced, and then we also increased amenities, because when we remove the coffee shop, then our amenities are going to be larger. So we have a rec room, and we also have another room for parties and etc. Now, so basically, all the concerns of last time were addressed. The only thing was about the architecture. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but on that we will be working with the city. So anything that we can do to benefit on the aesthetics, we'll do it. We can build anything that is required, and it's modern, like you want it, and So, I know this is no Q&A, but if you have questions after, I will be here, and anybody can come to me and ask me specifics.
Oh, I'm sure once we move to planning and zoning and council, we may have plenty of questions for you. Yep.
Okay, just
Ms. Karla, absolutely. Part of the applicant there.
I just want to share something as well. My name's Karla, Canada, 272 Westwood Drive in League City, 77573. So one of the concerns you all had was the surrounding area, the people from the Dad's Club and West Oaks subdivision. So we have reached out to both Dad's Club, Vic Henry. We set up a meeting with that. They had I guess they have a monthly board meeting, and we actually went out there to meet with them. Well, evidently he was on vacation, and so they canceled the meeting without his knowledge, so we were unable to meet with them. But the following day we did send them the layout and the proposal of what we're trying to do. He didn't seem to think that there was any problem with it at all. As a matter of fact, he invited it, thought it would be good for the community and good for the Dad's Club. He didn't see any reason at all that they would have any pushback. And we also, Mona reached out to Kelly, who's the HOA management company. I think it's Graham Management. So she did meet with them. She also sent them the packet and what we're proposing to do. And they want us to come to their September meeting and talk to them and the HOA management company and the HOA monthly meeting. So we have that coming up next month. So we have reached out to the area people surrounding, the neighbors, the Dad's Club, to let them know what the proposal is and what it's going to look like, and wanted to get a Q&A with them if they have questions and answers, so we're working on that as well.
Good deal. Does that complete the applicant's presentation portion of it?
Yeah, just one thing I want to say. Yeah, basically this time what we're here is to ask, because if we want to proceed and then start with the PD, that costs money, that's engineering, etc.
Sure.
So today we want to know if, there's quorum, or if you would suggest us to continue with this. So then the voting, because the next time would be the voting. So yeah, we need to know what to do basically.
Yeah, after this, really, and Martin, we can go through the schedule as we close out tonight. But yeah, once we have the workshop, unless you guys want to come back and workshop something additional, we can do that if we have to, especially if there's a major amount of comments or something like that. But I, like you, want to make sure that you have some form of direction from both planning and zoning as well as the council. Because you're right, next steps start getting expensive.
Yeah.
And to steal former member Perez's comments, and I believe this, I believe every city should kind of work on this, and that is, if it's going to be a no, it needs to be the cheapest no that you can.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't cost you a ton of money. But if it's going to be a yes, then it might cost you a little bit more, but there's people in favor of it, and we work through the process. So so with that, we're going to turn to planning and zoning and council here for just a second. We're going to start with planning and zoning members. Mr. Chair, we'll turn it over to you guys, and I think really and truly, his comment is important. If there's a hurdle to get over, we need to know that now. Yeah, there's pictures, there's those types of things which we can tie to a PD, but I think more importantly, this body, as well as the planning and zoning, need to say, is this the use? We can get to all the nuts and bolts of a PD and all those kind of things. It really comes down to the use. And, I'd rather hear comments about that and other comments if you've got issues about the PD or the building or the site plan and those types of things. But really and truly, I think it's the use that we need to get focused in on, and we can always, work on the rest. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, I'll go first. I have a question. Can you pull back up the site plan overall? What's the average rent for the 2-bedroom?
The average rent for the 2-bedroom would be around $2,000, $1,800 more or less. Yeah, we're only doing 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms.
So where's the detention for this?
The detention, it would be on the back of the property. We're going to put some detention at the front and with fountains, etc. But the main detention is going to be on the back, at the back. The only entrance is through Five Road. The one that you see on the back, that's the emergency exit. We had a meeting with the fire marshal, and then he recommended us to do that for, the trucks have to turn around, etc. So that emergency exit entry is only for them. It's an emergency one.
Okay. Ultimately, I like the townhome development for this lot. However, I like the renderings that you have and the changes that you made. And for me, I'm okay with this type of development in Pearland as long as it doesn't lead to any potential of Section 8 housing. I want good quality housing for people that need it. And I did like the idea that you said you would share some parking with the Dad's Club. I know they'd appreciate that. But although I would really prefer townhomes, I guess if this is the only type of development that's going to come to this site, I'm quite okay with what we're looking at. I like the amenities, and I would definitely want the amenities tied to this in the PD.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it.
Commissioner Kuhn, is there an exit on the north side of the property there?
No, entry and exit is going to be on Five Road.
Okay,
Yeah, the back is only for emergency vehicles.
understood. Thank you.
The lot is not wide enough. That's why, that's the thing. This is why we cannot have one entry and one exit. It's 333 feet, so we are only allowed to have one. But the way we solved it is to make a wider street with a median, so that way you have in and out traffic.
Commissioner McCatherine, I'm sorry I don't have my details in front of me. So at $2,800 for a two-bedroom apartment, what does that equate to per square footage?
No, 1,800 to 2,000 for the two.
800 to 2,000, okay.
1,800 to 2,000 for the two bedroom, maybe maximum 2,200. Well, square footage, it depends, of course, if it's a one bedroom or a two bedroom, but we're thinking about for the two bedroom around 1,200 to 1,400 square feet, depending on if it's a corner apartment or it's a medium apartment, yeah. And most of them are going to have balcony, and most of them facing into the pool or into the gardens.
When I looked at the renderings, I didn't see that most of them had, I saw some had balconies, but not most. So that would come out to what, 10 cents, a dollar a square foot?
Yeah, like 12.
$12?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming your market studies show that the community in Pearland could afford
Yes.
that kind of rent?
Yes, and we're also thinking about young professionals who just got a job, probably got out of college, and then they started a new job. And it's also very close to a medical center and to other places where there are jobs, yes.
Okay. And then can you remind me again, I'm sure we covered it in the last meeting, is there going to be an on-site management?
Yes, on-site management,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Did some quick math. You're closer to $2 a square foot per month, 24 a year.
Commissioner Fortes, thanks for coming back. Thank you for taking the inputs we gave and in addressing them. One thing about the presentation that I didn't, that I was hoping for better, I heard you verbally say that you hired a group and they came out in 2023, but most of the data that I read was from 2021, and it was not at a time that the Dad's Club was in operations. It wasn't baseball season, I guess I should say. The other thing, and this is being nitpicky, and I realize, but I just want to throw this out there. The Dad's Club, having experienced my time there with my kids, it's typically about 1.3 cars per baseball player. The coach goes early, coaches go early. Sometimes a parent has duty at the what do you call it, the concession stand, et cetera. So rather than one car per child, I would have put that about 1.3. I don't think that puts a dent in the numbers. I just wanted to make that point. One of the things I was wondering, and I don't know that I saw it. I see lots of articulation with building A. It says what's going to be on the inside. Is building B a courtyard similar, or is it more covered building?
The courtyard of building B, that's going to be gardens and a playground for the children. On the building A, we're going to have the pool and the cabanas and the barbecue area. And then on the second one is going to be a beautiful garden with the playground, also barbecue, of course, and yeah, exercise, outdoor rings and yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't make that distinction when I looked through it. I failed on that part. As for the use, which the mayor's correct, this is what we're here for. The main reason is the use. The neighbors, I think 2 parcels to the east, you have another multifamily. You have a huge detention pond to the west. To the north, you have a residential, but you've buffered it with detention ponds or at least a buffering. You even buffered it off the road. So I can't say I was too keen on this project the first time you brought it in, but I appreciate all the work you've done and as presented with a couple of maybe contingencies, I'd be for it.
Commissioner Eisenberg, I'm not going to. What they've already said is pretty much everything I have in mind too. The first time that y'all did bring it in, I wasn't a big fan of it. To be perfectly honest, I'm still not a big fan of the apartments, but I could probably get on board with it if y'all meet the standards and with some.
We'll work with you, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Does that conclude all the commissioners? All right, thank you for that. Appreciate it. We'll turn to City Council for questions, comments, concern. Anybody got a comment? Member Patel?
So, real quick, do you have elevators in this development at all?
Yes, by code you have to have elevators, yes.
Or a 3-story?
Yes. Also for moving, they're going to be cargo elevators, probably 4 per building, big ones. I think 5 feet by 5 feet, yeah.
So I don't have a problem with this site at all. I think it's a good development. At least your renderings show that the development will be high end. And I went on your website and I saw what you have developed, and it's pretty impressive. So
Thank you.
I wish you guys all the best. I have no objection to this, Mayor.
Thank you for that. Member Berry?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with Member Patel. Everything that I've seen looks pretty good. The first thing I did was going out to your website. We need this whole missing middle deal on the lower to mid-end type apartment facilities, and I like the fact that it's central, even though it's got relative proximity to the Dad's Club. It's going to be a little bit of a traffic nightmare for a little while, but that'll be addressed in years to come, I'm sure. So I'd be for it.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I'd like to say thank you very much for taking our comments and concerns from last meeting and implement them in this plan right here. So what I've seen, I'd be for it.
Good deal. Member Camcar?
Really quickly, I had to step out for a phone call. Did the majority of the P&Z, were they supportive of this? Okay, like that. Second, appreciate that you guys sent the information to Dad's Club as well as the West Oak. I had a question. Are there any additional comments on screening or any other items the staff saw? Did we have any additional items?
Since this is still kind of at a high level conceptual, they appear to be screening everything with what we would generally speak towards when we get into more detailed discussions on developing the actual PD document. We'll provide some better guidance then.
Martin, did you have any comments or pushback on our tree ordinance in relation to this? I saw some trees in the renderings. Did you get anything from the staff on that or from the applicant?
Other than one of the renderings shows a tree in the middle of a driveway, I had no issues with it.
And I just want to hear the applicant. You don't have any issues complying with our tree ordinance as it's currently written?
No, absolutely not. We will work with the city, so
It's great to hear. Thank you.
we'll remove the tree from the driveway.
You may need to refocus your attention on the more important items on the agenda.
Member Carbone?
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you incorporating all the comments from last time. I guess what I heard is you've reached out to Dad's Club in West Oaks. That's still, when you talk about the cheap no or the expensive yes, the really expensive no is when the Dad's Club fills up this and it fails. So that's still the concern. I know you've got the meetings going. Can't stress enough, you need their support, or at minimum, they're being neutral.
Yeah.
So that's consistently been my comment, and I'll stick with that.
Yeah, thank you for that. Martin, I don't know, have we had a chance to look at some of their traffic? I don't know if it was a full-blown TIA. I know that there's some traffic data in here. Have we had a chance to look at that and digest that?
No, we haven't routed that through fully yet. This was kind of more of a preliminary study.
Sure.
When this move forward, they'll work through the traffic worksheet, and that'll determine if they need additional TIA. But seeing as how Fight Road is to be expanded, really and truly, the TIA is going to discuss more about traffic timing, traffic lights, and things like that. We don't anticipate that this will cue in a full signal here.
Okay. Is anybody from the fire marshal's office here? I don't see. Were they recommending then the 911 crash gate on the back, or is it? They're not recommending that it's open to Morenci. I think they're recommending.
Yes, this has been
zone.
treated just very similarly to where we have other uses that dead end into a non-residential, or I should say a not single-family use. So it'll have a emergency gate there. Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think to Member Carbone's point, and I know Karla, if you've got information from Vic Henry and those types of things, sending that on would be good. Just so we know, I know Vic personally, I've known him forever, played ball with him in high school, so don't mind reaching out to him. But I think having those types of things would be good. Same thing with West Oaks. I know it's not September yet. You're going to meet next month. I think some feedback from that would be in order. And again, from y'all's perspective, depending on how that goes, is just kind of how you proceed. I mean, I think there's enough movement forward to have you move forward, but the caveat is, all of a sudden we have 50 residents show up here filling this place up. That's a whole different story than what we have now. So, and so we want to be wary of that, and again, wise dollar that you spend, making sure that you kind of have those things in order before you come back. So, final wrap up from anyone, staff, Martin. Member Hendricks?
Okay, I just wanted to say that if you're really serious about sharing parking spots, I know that my kids started at Dad's Club and we've had to park at neighborhoods over. So if you do that, I think that is one way to get them on board, but discuss it.
No, absolutely. We have 97 spaces that are for visitors or extra. Obviously, there's going to be a gate where the residents are going to enter with a code or a card, etc. But outside of the gate, when the Dad's Club would talk to us, we will definitely allow them. No, there's no problem.
I was going to say I would make sure you have designated spots for your residents.
Yeah, we will.
Because they will be very mad when the Dad's
No, we will, and there's going to be two entry gates actually, one entry, one exit gate, and you can only access through an electronic card. So even if the Dad's Club want to park inside, they can't.
Oh, where would they park outside then?
Okay, from let's say from where you see the street at the south, and the roundabout, all of those spaces, more or less until there, a little bit more, those are 97 spaces that are extra. Because in our experience, visitor parking is always a problem when you have apartment complex. Visitors at the end, they double park, etc., and then they cause a problem for the whole community. This is why we want to have enough for our, for our case, and also we can lend the spaces to the dance club when they need it. Yeah.
I'm not sure who has the cursor, but it looked like, yeah, somewhere right where the cursor's at now, maybe a little bit further down. That's where your gate's going to be.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, and the gate is going to be closed. So if it's closed, you don't enter. I mean, the dance club people wouldn't enter. Or maybe we can put some flags, etc. at the time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just thought I'd make
No,
that
but we're okay with that. Yeah, yeah.
idea clear that at least, make sure the resident spots are labeled if you did do that.
Yeah, we
so
will.
we don't
We
get
might paint them
complaints.
different color. Or there's many ways to do that. Yeah. Actually, when we were talking to the dance club, they told us that they wanted to buy this property to turn it for parking, but apparently it was too expensive. But they wanted this for parking. So yeah.
That's all I had.
Lawrence?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say, since so much of the discussion had included mention of the Dad's Club and overflow parking potentially on this lot, that may be possible under the UDC, that may not be possible under the UDC. That's not listed as a criteria for PD application or for PD approval. And most importantly, engineering might not support that. And I don't want to put an engineer on the spot today.
Sure.
But if you're widening Fight, you might not want a mid-block crossing, especially if you're talking about kids going across a widened street.
But I think that needs to be looked at as it comes back, those types of things. I think, obviously putting the PD together with all the nuts and bolts and landscaping, screening, as has been mentioned. I think the renderings that you've come back with are good. I think it certainly keeps with the spirit of what we're trying to do in a multifamily arena. Don't have the doors opened up, to the outside or, to public viewing. It's all internal. Those types of things. So I think you've done a good job putting this all together. I like the look. It's a little modern. It's a little different. As anything, it looks good today. 40 years from now, it's all going to have to be updated. So, I mean, that's just true with every construction type that's out there. So with that, last call comments. I don't see any. So we're going to close this. Excuse me. We're going to adjourn and close this joint workshop at 5:32.